People, deluded, I'm back again. Thank you very much for tuning back in each and every time. It's morning over here in the UK, so good morning to you lot all. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, depending on whoever you are, wherever you are. I'm happy to see you all here. I see the comments kind of going crazy. I appreciate you guys early doors in the comments. Before we actually begin, please make sure you've hit the like button. Also, check out the pinned message, people. Next live stream, Arsenal versus Newcastle live watch along. I'll be live from 4:45. And yeah, I'll be watching and reacting in real time with you guys, as well as providing my very own commentary for the FA Cup game against Newcastle. So yeah, man, please make sure you've hit the like button for this video. Make sure you slap the reminder and also the like button on that one. After the live watch along, there'll also be a third one, a reaction. Come on, you know, the grind doesn't stop, so how can I, sort of thing, people. So like I said, I appreciate you lot all locked in. Please make sure you hit the like button. You know, there's 24 of you allegedly in here and there's 20 likes, so we're off to a good start. 4 people need to wake the sleepy dust from their eyes and let us progress, people. So yeah, just to get us in the match day mood, people. I'm not going to be here too long either as well, because I've got a long day ahead of me. But, you know, yesterday I wanted to speak about Saliba and Saliba's comments based on his press conference. There's been some rumors about Eddie, about Mesut Ozil, about Emery wanting Torreira. There's a lot of paper talk and nonsense, people. So we're going to get into it. How you lot doing? First things first, man. I'm seeing the usual suspects there as well. Big up yourself, Mo. I'm there, my guy, man. I'm progressing. I'm doing what I can. I thought, let me source things up and use a bit of a yellow display, you know, yellow caption. I think it was looking a bit too basic, and it's a new year. So maybe it's time to start using different overlays that I have and things like that. So big up yourselves. Rashid, I appreciate that. Like he said, keep supporting the thing. Follow and sub. I hope you're good, Jonathan. I see you. You know, big up yourself, liking the new graphics, small little color changes, but I appreciate that nonetheless, man. Appreciate you, my guy. Hopefully we do get a win. Isn't it 9 years or so? It's not 9 years. It can't be 9 years or so, but I'm pretty sure this is the anniversary of when Thierry Henry came back to Arsenal in the FA Cup and obviously bagged. So we can't lose today, man. Big up yourself, Sandro. Skyter's in the building as well. You know, almost had his lunch and he's kicking back. Please make sure you're hitting the like button, people. So yeah, we've got Jamie there. You know, we've got Frankie in the building. You know, Danny's there. You know, Raz is saying drop a like button before we kick off. Exactly. You know, so let's progress, man. Let's speak about Eddie Nketiah first and foremost, people. Let's speak about Eddie Nketiah. I'm sure a lot of you have various opinions on him. My opinions personally on Eddie Nketiah, I don't think he's a bad player. I don't think he's a bad player. I think he's a player that can improve. I think he's a player that isn't quite of the level to be a leader right now, starting week in, week out. I do think we have to kind of consider the fact that he might turn into I wouldn't say quality player, but he's only 22. How many if every striker was written off, you know, where was Jamie Vardy at 22? Where was Aubameyang at 22? I'm not saying he's going to hit the heights of these players. I'm just saying you can't really judge a man on that. But at the same time, like I said, I still think he's young generally as a striker. I still think he's very raw. I still think he needs to progress, but there is an element of me that thinks he can improve, and I want to see a proactive stance taken on Eddie Nketiah, whether we're collectively saying, cool, there's Balogun or there's Martinelli or whoever is in the pecking order, let's keep it moving with him, people. Let's sell him, get a sell-on clause. Or can we protect his resale value? The main thing as well, you know, I care about resale value. Regardless what you think about Eddie Nketiah, he's played 57 times for Arsenal. He's 20-something years of age. We need to be getting money for that lad, whether it's 15 to 30 million. I think West Ham would be very stupid to pay 30 million, but, you know, it is what it is. Hopefully we can do that. And he's come from our academy, yes, via Chelsea, but he's come from our academy. So we need to make sure that our academy is looking after us, in a sense of, if man are not going to progress to the first team, they're sold for money, which can help reinvest. I don't like to do the ifs, buts and whatnot. And obviously football isn't this easy, people. But just imagine, you got 30 for Nketiah. You know, whatever money you try to give for an hour, you know, in the summer, that's your money there, you sort of thing. It costs a couple of £1 million to keep Hayland alive, and keep the academy running. So if you sell Eddie for 30 million, instantly the academy's done what it's needed to do. Once again, yes, he's come from Chelsea, but you get the point. So I'm going to flip the screen in a minute, but I see my guy, Mr. Superstar, Sky Sports in the building. Big up Curtis Shaw TV, man. Make sure you subscribe to his thing and do up the likes and things. I'm sure next week we'll have some content on his channel as well as mine. And like I said, Mr. Superstar Cameron Jerome getting the look up, man. You know, I'm very proud of you, my bro. I see you on Sky Sports News doing your thing. I see you didn't look overawed. You look like you've been preparing for that situation your whole life. And I know how hard you grind and things like that. So I'm appreciative that you got that, man. And, you know, I see it as a win for myself as well, my guy, in that, you know, you look like me, you talk like me, from the same region as myself. Generally, I know you're from up north and them thing there, but you know, it's not easy for us IC3s out here. So a victory for Curtis is a victory for all the man them. So it was inspiring, and it makes me think that, you know, you have to keep progressing with this, because you can get somewhere. You know, Curtis is opening doors for everybody. So yeah, big up Curtis, man, and big up everybody locked in. Please make sure you're hitting the like button, people. Let me share my screen. Go into the infamous Google document. As you guys know, I never make it large enough for you guys. Very selfish of me. We're going to speak about Saliba. Forget all of that for a second. My things is this. In relation to Eddie and Nketiah, we know the bulk of the reason they're linked with him is because they've sold their striker. What's his name? I can't even remember his name now, but he scored that banger a few weeks ago, and he's gone to Ajax, and he was doing his thing in Germany before West Ham. I can't lie. That, you know, if someone help me out, what's the West Ham striker's name? It's completely eluded me. But either way, you know, the bulk of them being linked with Eddie and Nketiah is because of this, people. You know, it's because they've sold a striker for 25 million. You know, selling someone that has way more experience and a stronger, whatever you say about, I can't remember the bloody guy's name, man. What's his name, bro? The West Ham striker, Halia. That's it. Whatever you say about him, I'm sure he was in Germany. He got a decent record. I'm sure he's been in Holland before. Either way, he's got a better record as a professional footballer or a professional striker than Eddie Nketiah. I know Eddie Nketiah has done his thing at under 21s level for England and fantastic with the record there. You know, I know he's scored goals for fun at youth level, but when you look at it, for me personally, he's got 18 months left. It would be good for Arsenal if we could twang it, you know. Like I said, if you could get 30 million and a sell-on clause for for Eddie Nketiah, not Ozil, that would be great because it can be reinvested. But I know West Ham have made some stupid transfers, but I think they'd have to be a special kind of stupid. Maybe they keep an interest on him because he's a young striker, young English striker with potential. He also scored against them, so they got to see him firsthand. He's got 18 months left on his deal, people, which is for me the crucial thing. I want to see a proactiveness. I don't want us to go into the summer. On one hand, it could be telling that Eddie Nketiah, there's no talk around a new deal. You know, there's no talk around the new deal. Maybe that's telling. It's a bit like Lacazette or a bit like El Nene, and that, you know, barring a miracle, you're probably going to be looked to moved on and whatnot. Highly of my guy, man. You know me, I'm not the guy for the pronunciations, my dude. I'm the guy for the football. I mean, no disrespect, but like I said, yeah, it wouldn't make much sense. He's got 18 months left on his deal. I don't want to go into the summer and, beyond the obvious, have to deal with the speculation of Eddie, because again, proactive approach. Put your hat on him. Say he's going to be a first team player and tie him down, or say you're going to loan him out, you know, try and make him improve and get resale value, hope he can be an addition, or say, cool, do you know what, Eddie, you've done what you've needed to do for us in this football club. There's 18 months left on your deal. We're going to bring in Balogun, or Martinelli's going to be the striker. Or what I've said previously, I believe Arteta wants a striker outright. So we're going to bring in this striker or whatever, and we're going to use this money that can be reinvested. No shame. Eddie Nketiah could leave with his head held high. He's played 57 times for Arsenal. He scored a goal for Arsenal, a couple of goals for Arsenal. He's been a professional footballer for Arsenal. He's done more than what some young players have failed to do at this club. He could leave with his head held high. Like I said, I do think Eddie Nketiah is going to be a better player than he is right now, but maybe he needs to leave Arsenal to become that. And maybe and the way Arsenal are right now, we can't wait until he's 25 or so to say, yeah, he might hit the ground running, because I'm not seeing the building blocks. You know, strikers take long to develop, and Curtis Shaw's in the chat, or at least I hope he still is, so he can tell you just as much as a striker. You know, you got to take time. And for me, why I think strikers of importance, because I know Aubameyang's not scoring a lot of goals, but he's doing his thing. The minute Aubameyang signed that new contract, we should have been looking for the next striker of tomorrow for this football club. Lacazette, he's in form, but he's 29, and you've got someone that's 31 years of age. So we need to make a decision. We need to be looking for strikers year in, year out. You know, have we been monitoring one for a couple of years, and then maybe in this season or the next other season, we're going to do what we're going to do? For me, it wouldn't make sense to sell Halia, forgive me for mispronunciations, to bring in Eddie, purely because he's more experienced, he's more likely to score goals. You know, Eddie's very raw and inexperienced on the grand scheme of things. He's played 57 times for Arsenal. He made, 10, 11 appearances for Leeds or something, and he didn't really play. So I can't see how he's helping them and how he's going to take them to the next level. Of course, you have to consider they might buy a man, he might bang, but I can't see it. And like I said, if I'm West Ham, just looking at it without emotion, people, 18 months left on his deal. You know, arguably you could say he's third choice forward. I know he's kept Lacazette out the team and maybe even forced Aubameyang out wide, but at the same time, people, I'm sure you'd all agree Eddie is probably third choice centre forward. If Martinelli then goes through there, he's probably fourth, but right now he's playing on the left. So would you really, and a third, fourth choice striker who's got 18 months left, you know, would you really want to pay over the top for him? And again, crucially as well, if I'm West Ham, just look at the numbers. He might be prolific in the Europa League and all of these things, but when I get down to it and I want a Premier League striker, he's currently not that. He's got 4 goals in 33 appearances in the Premier League. Now I'll afford him the luxury of, you know, not all of them have been 90 minutes. He's been young and, you know, he's come on for a little 10 minutes at a period, but he has this season started games, and off the back of last season as well, started games. 4 goals in 33 for 30 million with 18 months left on his deal doesn't make much sense to me personally. You know, he's got 12 goals in 57 appearances in all comps for Arsenal. So again, talk of being a sharpshooter, a fox in the box, and all of these things are not making sense for me personally. So if you're going to go for him, people, surely you're better off taking a chance on some man in the Championship, similar to what Villa did with Watkins, where you could go for an Armstrong, who I've done a video on a few weeks ago and released it today, and he's doing all right in the Championship. You know, Ivan Toney in recent weeks, he's gone off the boil, but surely it'd make more sense taking a chance on them or doing similar to what they've already done apparently with actually taking Haller, because he was doing all right in the Bundesliga or whatever until this happened. Also at the same point, like I said, you're better off taking chances on people in the Championship. I'm not gonna lie, I'd be open to selling Eddie. I'm wary of selling a man mid-season, but I would be open to selling him purely because it might, and not that I don't listen. When I see 100k for Balogun, I don't think we should offer assurances to Balogun. I don't think there's any divine right. If you're not Kylian Mbappe, you know, the club don't need to demand you anything. You know, you need to show your levels, but at the same time, we can all see Balogun is a better striker. So cool. Not everyone has to make it at this club. Could we just move him on? You know, there's a pathway for Balogun. There's a little bit of convincing him that, yo, there's a pathway. You can do it now. You know, you're going to be that striker off the bench / in and around now. So I wouldn't mind that. You know, if you sell Eddie Nketiah, pathway for Balogun, you let Balogun do up what Eddie Nketiah is doing, which he should be. I don't mind that. But I also can see a future where you sell Eddie. You know, I would let Balogun go this window if we're not getting anywhere personally. Sell Balogun for a little nominal fee. Sell Eddie Nketiah and then reinvest. Now again, it's probably stupid of me to suggest both of them leave because you're then light for options. You know, Aubameyang will play on the left and that'll push through the middle, Lacazette as well, but you need somebody else within the squad. Me, crucially, you know, if they're willing to pay 30 million for someone without any emotion, with a weak CV in the Premier League, like, he's not going to score goals for me. And West Ham are having a decent season by their own standard. You know, again, you've got to take a chance on players. So if you believe he could be 30, fair play, but that's my opinion. But in relation to the actual article, people linking them with him, and again, I don't see West Ham paying 30 million. Maybe they're just putting the feelers out and seeing what can be done for Eddie. But like you can see here, West Ham tracking Arsenal striker, West Ham tracking Arsenal striker as possible Sebastian Haller replacement. Simple as that. You know, like you can see here, they sold him for 20 million. So then again, there'd be a net spend of 10 million for Eddie Nketiah, but at the same time, it wouldn't make sense. And they've been linked with Joshua King, who's in the Championship. I haven't seen too much of this Dar guy. Does he not play for Rennes or one of them French teams? I'm sure I've come across him, but you know, it makes sense to go for one of them. Again, you could sit here and say Premier League proven for Eddie, because I wouldn't say he's Premier League proven, but he's played a number of times. But I don't see how he helps them. If you're gonna buy Eddie Nketiah, for me, if you're West Ham, and again, I don't know West Ham youngsters like West Ham fans, but I'd rather, you might as well give your own young striker a chance, really, because 30 million for a gamble, he's very inexperienced, and I'd be looking at his, you didn't even get to play for Leeds, you're not really doing what you need to do at Arsenal. Your record, for someone that's talked about as a fox in a box and as a poacher and a sharpshooter, the CV doesn't match up. The minutes and the numbers don't match up. You know, the goal celebration does, but they don't match up. So I'd rather go for a young player, or I'd rather, you know, you'd rather go around and ask for people. And look, to be fair with you, it might be stupid, but I'd rather take a punt on trying to buy Giroud. Now, I know Giroud is being linked with Juventus. He's being linked with, you know, Inter Milan and all these things, but I'd rather a cheeky offer for Giroud. Someone said I'm always going in on Eddie. You know, I'm not going in on Eddie. I'm one of Eddie's biggest fans, but I have to free the realness. I don't think he's levels right now. It's as simple as that. And, you know, as much as I like Eddie and like the Balligans and all of these things and all these young players, if you're not killing Mbappe, Lionel Messi and these sort of man there, and Ronaldo and Neymar, anyone can be replaced really. And the club might be looking at it rightly or wrongly. You sold Thingy for a couple of bob, Greenwood for a couple of bob. You know, you could sell Eddie for a couple of bob. You should have sold Balogun again. I want these guys to progress to the first team, but at the same time, you know, we need to be thinking about cash. And for me, we need to start hustling. You know, for me, a lot of people say, oh, when you look at Brewster and Liverpool, they got 30 million or so for him. And I get that. There is logic. Eddie Nketiah's got the under 21s record. But why we're in a weaker position for me personally is because we're you know, if we're completely honest with ourselves, the CV just simply isn't strong enough from Eddie, you know. But at least Brewster went out on loan and kind of badded it up at Swansea. It didn't work out for Eddie. Eddie at Leeds, you know, he's shown patches at Arsenal, but he's been nothing more than a squad player at both. I do think you can get 30 million for him purely because, you know, today's day and age, very, very rarely in the Premier League do you see value for money. It's what you can hustle, it's who you can hustle. Somehow we got 30 odd for Iwobi, shouldn't have been worth that. We're able to hustle, sort of thing, people. So yeah, Eddie can prove a lot of people wrong. I do think there's an element of surprise to come with Eddie, but like what I'm seeing right now is that it's not going to happen here. You might become a player of tomorrow, but we don't have the time to wait for that. You know, if he goes on a couple of loan spells and things like that, who knows? Like you can see, people, he's made 20 appearances this season and he's not scored too many goals. He's been a sharpshooter primarily in the Europa. Shout out to him against, I believe, Leicester, definitely West Ham, where he nicked it for us. But yeah, people, you know, a permanent deal could be more attractive to Arsenal. Again, you know, maybe a loan, you loan him to West Ham, and if he plays, you get a loan fee, and if he plays, he kind of certifies himself in terms of solidifies a greater footballing stature, and then maybe it can tempt people to take a risk on him with 18 months. But I can't see it happening, people. It's gone on to say, you know, again, it remains to be seen whether Arsenal would entertain a loan move, which I don't think we should. I'd rather him just sit on the bench and be a squad player here, really. If he's not good, West Ham, I don't know if you're going to play consistently. I don't want another Leeds spell from him. Unless we're going to send him somewhere he's going to play week in, week out and kind of show some levels, there's no point, people. There's absolutely no point. So yeah, man. And again, crucially, like it said here, I'm all about raising funds to move for other targets, people. And again, it's gone on to say a departure would present Balogun with more first team chances. And I don't believe giving divine rights to the likes of Balogun and things like that. If Balogun wants to cut now, we're at that stage now where let him cut, you know, stop playing him in the first team unless we're down to our bodies and we need it. Give them chances to other young players and just concede you made it L and don't let it happen again with the young Kion Edwards, with the Muller guy, Tyrese John Jules, Kiddo Taylor Hart, whose contract is also running down. You know, be a bit proactive in that regards. But in relation to this, I think West Ham would be incredibly stupid to pay 20 to 30 million for Eddie. I think any club would, but that'd be the fee I'd personally be looking for. So we'll have to see what happens there, people. Got a quick I appreciate that, Kevin, man. We've got a super chat. That's what they call these things again. Who were you most disappointed when they didn't make it at Arsenal based on their talent? In terms of ranking them, I think J. Emmanuel Thomas probably had what J. Emmanuel Thomas was a top one there. I think Benick was better than Akpom personally. I think Afobe got shagged by injuries. I didn't think it was going to happen for Akpom. He was a good striker, but you can just tell when it isn't going to work. And beyond just cheering on Hayland, you could just tell it wasn't a thing. You know, I think personally, Afobe is out of the strikers. I'd say Afobe was the best. I'd probably say Eddie Nketiah second, and then Akpom. To be fair with you, I've seen Akpom bad it up. You know, I'd probably have to go back and watch old footage. But out of all of them, I'd say J. Emmanuel Thomas. Love for the super chat, my guy. I appreciate that each and every time. I hope you're all doing well and safe, people. Do not forget to hit the like button. I see you lot going active in the comments. There's 293 of you. Can we get that up, man? Football is harsh. I don't think Eddie Nketiah gets judged harshly. I do think people scapegoat, but at the same time, you know, he's not shown the levels really and truly. He's at a point he actually showed talent because he took Lacazette out the starting lineup and he's not been clinical. I'm looking at Eddie Nketiah. I look at the game against Everton. I saw reactiveness. I didn't see you giving the centre halves any much of a problem. I don't see someone who's physically ready. I don't see someone who reads the game strong enough right now. I see someone who's very reactive. I call him being a clinical striker and things like that. I've seen him snatch at some stupid chances in the Europa League, even times when he scored. Everton, there was a chance. I'm sure you can all remember it. He had a lot of time. He had a lot of space. Personally, I think he should have played somebody in. And He didn't. And I think he's too selfish. Now, there's nothing wrong with being a selfish striker. There's absolutely nothing wrong. But I think you've got to find balance. Ultimately, you're going to be judged on goals as a striker. And if you're not scoring goals, you're not levels. Like I said, he might develop into a top striker. I think he has got ability. You know, Owen rates him, Shearer rates him, Ian Wright rate him. These are all men that have done more in football than me. And he might do that. But we got 2 or 3 years to wait for Eddie when you're not showing anything. You know, we call him a sharpshooter. The record isn't there. You know, it's not there. He, as a striker, you're going to be judged by goals. 57 appearances, 12 goals. Really, any of them haven't been bagged in the Premier League. Once again, he has, you know, sometimes it hasn't always been 90 minutes and things like that. He's not, and then it's also as well, you're judged on goals. Goals are your bread and butter, but it's also what you do when you don't score. I don't think Eddie has enough to him without the ball and things like that. I don't think he's involved in the game. I think he's on the periphery of things. I think I just don't think his levels. If that makes me harsh, then it is what it is. Football is a harsh game, people. So if that makes me harsh, it is what it is. Football is harsh, man. I've seen Arsenal lose Champions League finals with like 15 minutes and all of those things left, man. Football's a harsh game, you know. If the truth makes me harsh, then we have to set it free, man. We have to set it free. It is what it is in that regards, man. Um, you know, we move, man. We move. And to be fair, it's not the end of the world, man. Even with Balogun, if Balogun wants to keep it moving, bruv. Cut, bruv. Like, it's that simple. Listen, I don't, unless, like I said, unless you're a top Mbappe or something, I don't think the club should, beyond like a proper insurance is telling you where you could fit in. I don't think they should say, nah, you're definitely going to play. Please stay. I don't think we should be begging it. This Arsenal Football Club. Balogun might turn into a quality player, but I'm not a fan of all these antics. If man want to leave, let them leave, man. I'm angry at the club for not making no cash, and because I'm sitting here on my YouTube videos and saying these things are going to happen, and lo and behold, months later they're happening. It's crazy. You know, it's absolutely crazy. That's where I'm annoyed about. But it is what it is. That's actually, again, you know what, Werner plays for them boy there, so I don't even care about none of that. It is what it is. You know, I just think Eddie's raw. I think a loan spell would really do a lot for him. I think a loan where you could play consistently 20, 30 games. Let's see what you're really on. You know, let's see what you're on. You know, I do, you know, Eddie can surprise people because you don't know. You know, a year's a long time. You could go out on loan, get some football. I think just like Joe Willock, you know, they needed to have gone somewhere. You're going to play 20, 30 times because, you know, I do think Arteta likes what Eddie brings to the table. Sometimes he started him when we've all been looking like where we've been bewildered. But at the same time, if Arteta has a gun to his head, his kids are kidnapped, his family's kidnapped, and he needs to win and get 3 points, you know, or something mad happens, I don't think he's playing Eddie. And that tells me you need to go out on loan. Simple as that. And I've always said it. I think if Arteta, if every area, you know, fullback, midfield, centre half, every area, if that was addressed in this team and we had a squad that we believed was competent enough to really get top 4 and be consistent there, I think he would look for a striker. I think he likes Aubameyang, but he's not convinced with him through the middle for whatever reason. Lacazette, I think he likes his hold-up playing things, but he doesn't get enough goals, something Arteta's indirectly spoken about. And Eddie, you know, if he could score goals and was a bit stronger, he could be the guy, really and truly. But you already know in Eddie's case, people. So make of that what you will. But again, I want Eddie to develop. You know, it's in my best interest for Eddie to develop. We either have a first-team player or we have a player that progresses to the first team. It's as simple as that, man. You know. Would you have said the same about Gnabry? I'd implore you all, you know, I'd implore you all to thingy, go and look at the first ever video I did, you know, the first ever video I did. That's what, and that will tell you everything. That's what kicked off my YouTube career. I couldn't understand why Gnabry was messing around with Gnabry. And the day I knew Gnabry was leaving is when he was allowed to go to the Olympics, but Iwobi wasn't, in the sense of the Olympics was coinciding with the season starting. Now you can let man go to the Olympics, but they're similar age. If Iwobi's allowed to stay and Gnabry's allowed to go, that tells me that I'm not, if I'm a manager, if I'm the player, the manager don't really rely on me at the start of the season because he doesn't want me involved in his early planning for the season. That tells you everything, really. You know, he needed to go and play football. I hear that. So Frankie, just go back and check it. You know, Eddie could, this is it. You don't, this is why I'll tell you about young players, you know, for every, you know, everyone could go on and be the next Gnabry, or they could be somebody else, you know, Eddie, Balogun, Amici, these men might leave and become ballers. Either way, they might not. What I like about them is seizing their futures. Well, all I care about is players can progress to Arsenal's first team. And if they can't, let's get top dollar that can be reinvested. And too often than not, Arsenal are getting pennies for players. You know, look at Josh Martin, you know, wasn't getting a game at under 18s level for Arsenal. Now he's in the first team at Norwich. You know, Nathan Teller at Southampton. Benson got released by Arsenal and he's now at Burnley. Sometimes players need to leave or people need to go elsewhere for it to hit off. There's no shame in that. Sometimes it's just, this isn't just going to happen here sort of thing. You have to keep it moving sort of thing. You know, Gnabry, you know, I think Gnabry was a bit different because Gnabry got rubbed out even in the sense of everyone forgets 2014 FA Cup run, you know, how crucial Ozil and Gnabry were, you know. Didn't Gnabry play against Everton? He definitely played against Spurs. You know, it is what it is, man. To be fair with you, I think Joe and Eddie need to go out on loan personally. They're a bit for me. I need, like I said, proper minutes. Minutes are currency. And I think both of them should go to clubs where they're training, where they was training, at least be training week in, week out with a legit chance to start 20, 30 games. I don't think these occasional starts that they get, you know, these occasional cup games, I don't think it's enough to develop them. I don't. I think they need to, look, can you really say no matter how good Eddie or Joe play, are they going to play week in, week out, you know? They need to go somewhere where they can get 10 games on the spin or at least compete for that. They could probably do it, you know, just like Dan Crowley. To be fair, physically, Dan Crowley was a bit behind and we needed a bit of time. The loan spells didn't help him as well. We're palming him off to Oxford and Barnsley. It's no coincidence that he had his best time, and he did struggle initially, but he had his best time in Holland, and then he came back now and he's at Birmingham. So it is what it is in that regard to it. I don't know if it's actually come across here, but this is the key part I took away. And it's important to remember, I believe Nice will be traveling to Metz and playing against Metz at 8 o'clock. So, and I don't think it's on BT. So if anyone's got a stream, help me out or I'll find one because I want to watch that. You know, that's the next game Saliba will be playing in. But he said the coach immediately told me that I was not ready. I would have at least liked to have had a chance to rediscover my rhythm. So again, he's barely played. He wanted a chance to get into the groove of things, to get match fit, to get back to a standard. And to be fair, this is where I have a problem. If Arteta has told him he's immediately not ready, why didn't we loan him out? Now, again, I know the personal problems and stuff he's allegedly gone through, so I'm not referring to that. Again, I don't really want to speculate on that, but if there's that in mind, I get it. But this is why we needed to be a bit proactive. And this is why, for me, when I'm seeing that the coach is telling you that, when I'm hearing on the last day of the season, you're trying to palm a man off anywhere and can't agree a loan fee, it doesn't sound right to me. It doesn't really sound right. And like he said, my first 6 months was difficult because I was coming from 6 months where I wasn't able to train because I was at home and couldn't train outside and couldn't play. So we all know he lost match rhythm. He wasn't able to build on 28. I know he made his 29th career appearance in the French division a couple of days ago, but prior to that, he couldn't build upon his 28 games because of the COVID lockdown and the season getting ripped and all of these sort of things. So yeah, people. So yeah, I'm not too sure that not you, my guy. Your Gnabry does burn. You know, United fans were very special capping with that. I'm not too sure you're fully right on that, my guy. I don't think that is true in relation to Brewster, but you're allowed to believe that. And then we've got Subi as well talking the realness, you know. So I'm not too sure where you got your info, but fair play. And he also said, I arrived there as they were finishing the league season, so I was training alone. As soon as they came back from holidays, we had quickly the first friendly matches where I lacked rhythm and was a bit insufficient physically. So he was a bit behind. So what have I seen here? He's had to play catch up because we all remember that he was doing his individual training while the boys were gone, designed to help him hit the ground running. But to a degree, he was playing catch up. And maybe there was some, they probably was, but maybe there was something Arsenal could have done in terms of, yes, he's isolated at home, but we went through this with our own players initially during lockdown. Maybe there was something we could have done better there, but I can't imagine they weren't doing that. But in relation to this, people, this is his Get French Football. They've kind of summarized what's happened at the press conference. You know, very rarely do you see a player match and then have a press conference. So at least he's got that first game under his belt. But on Nice, he said, and a bit of it is going to be PR. He said Nice was certainly my top choice because it's a good club that I've liked for a long time. It's a club that fights at the top of the table, that fights to be in a European competition. It is a club with ambition that has a good style of play, style of possession. As for St. Etienne, that is my home and my comfort zone. I wanted to leave my comfort zone to come to Nice, a club I've never played for, and I'm sure it's the best choice. So I learned a lot of people were saying with the personal problems Saliba was going with and things like that, it made sense to go back to St. Etienne. But this tells you someone that wants to be out of their comfort zone, and he is, you know. to us in England, it's a bit bewildering. You know, we don't understand what's really going on with Saliba. But to France or people in France, they judge him a bit different. They think he's kind of level sort of thing. They can't understand it. So there's an element of responsibility. You know, he's gonna like the manager said when he signed, he has to be a leader because you know he's got that personality. And like I don't think it's actually here, but he said, "I'm young, but I've arrived the boss." That's what I want to hear because he's gonna have to be a leader amongst men. You know, they've got a very young squad collectively. You know, they've got Dalberg, Amin Guerrieri, Jeffrey Adley, you know, what's that guy, Stanley and Socky. You know, they've got another young centre half. They've got Saliba. So there's a lot of young men. There's going to be a lot of lessons that they're going to have to learn. But this is a case for Saliba to thrive, to be a leader amongst young men, to be the experienced one amongst young men. He's got the personality for it. And that's what you want to see it. For me, I think Saliba's going to have a long season purely because I like that these young players are getting chances. I like that he's playing for a manager that's giving young people opportunities. I like the club that he signed for in Nice. But just based on that first game I saw them play, unless there's a massive turnaround, they're going to have some heavy defeats because you can see it, you know. It's a bunch of kids. It's extremely naive, especially for the 2 goals they've just conceded. There's a lot to learn. Now, for me, Saliba, even if he gets game time, he's not going to be the finished article. That's what we just need him to take them building blocks. For me, he does get caught flat-footed. His positioning can improve. For someone who's 6'4", he can be better in the air. For me, he can be a bit more proactive and he needs to do things a bit quicker. But these are all things you'd expect a 19-year-old who's played 29 times in the top division to have. You know, it's about how we make him that tomorrow. So at Nice, we're hoping he just gets more confidence and is able to come back. You've heard how Arteta speaking about him and said, you know, we need him to get confidence. He's gonna come back for pre-season and the rest of it, people. So yeah, man, you know, he said it. Yeah, he wants to be out of his comfort zone. He also said, I arrived on Monday. Things happened quite quickly. I had one training session today. I had one training session. Sorry, today is my second training session. So he had one training session and got to start. Good. Big up Nice for that, people. He spoke of doing his medical and stuff like that. And again, 23's football is a massive step below any top flight men's football, men's professional football, in my opinion, at all. And he also said, and that is for sure, is that the rhythm, and what is for sure is that the rhythm at the professional level and 23's level is not the same. But I wanted to play and I trained so hard at Arsenal. That's why the coach put me in directly on Wednesday. So again, he wanted to play. I like that. Forget not being fit, forget being this and that. He wanted to play. And you did see a bit of, you would naturally see some elements of ring rust within his game. Naturally, there's no way around that, people. So yeah, it doesn't prepare you, but he showed his mentality, and in theory, it could only get better now. You've thrown yourself in at the deep end. You played with one training session with your new team off the back of not really being in the best of physical health at Arsenal because you ain't played and all of those sort of things. So it can only get better now, really and truly. It can only get better. Like I said, we've signed this man at 19 years of age for 5 years. So again, we need to take our time. There's no rush. We just need to make sure we take a proactive approach to developing him to be that William Saliba of tomorrow, to be that Arsenal regular, to be that centre-half with Gabriel for a decade, to be that guy who's French international and, you know, all of these sort of things, people. You know, it takes time. Everyone looks at Van Dijk. They forget the education he went through in Holland. You know, he got his grounding at Celtic. He got some experience at Southampton, you know, and now he's a quality player for Liverpool, you know, but there was some building blocks each and every day. He spoke on his experience at Arsenal. He said, my first 6 months were difficult because I was coming from 6 months where I was not able to train because I was at home and couldn't train outside. I arrived there as they were finishing the league season, so I was training alone. As soon as they came back from holidays, we quickly had the first friendly matches where I lacked rhythm and was a bit insufficient physically. The coach immediately told me that I was not ready. I would have at least liked to have had the chance to rediscover my rhythm, but this is football and it's like that. And again, it's true. Maybe the manager said, you know what, I rate you, but I need you to go and get game time. You've missed out on too much football. You're a bit too raw and physically you're behind everyone, despite the fact you've kept training. It's all cool. I get that. I can't disagree with that. But I do agree at the same time as well, he could have been afforded the luxury to at least you could have still sold. You could have still, sorry, not sold, man. You could have still gave man out on loan in January, but I still think he could have got a couple of games in the Europa League and the cup competitions. Definitely when it became a case of when we got through in the Europa League. So it is what it is, people. You know, he would have liked the chance again, but it is what it is. He's had to just get on with it. Again, we've spoken about Nice, and if you watched the last game, you know they're quite error prone. And they're gonna make mistakes. Saliba is gonna make mistakes. They're all gonna make mistakes. I want them to, you know, because you make mistakes at 23's level. I've seen Saliba do it. You can get away with it. You make mistakes at this level, instantly, you know you effed up, and you know where you need to improve. It's one of them ones there, people. So yeah, on the error-ridden defense that Nice currently have, he said, "I'm a young player, but for me, I bring my young experience. I've played in Liga. Even though I'm young, I'm here to be the boss. I have to come to run the defense, and I intend to give my all, and I hope we will be better defensively in the matches to come." That's what I want to hear. He wants his personality to shine. He wants to be a leader. He wants to be a difference maker. He wants to stand up to be counted. That's one thing you could see with him at St. Etienne. You could see, you know, why do you think he resonated well with the St. Etienne fans? Because he knew the derbies meant something to him. You see him with the microphone. You see all of the. You see everything that he's got in his arsenal. So yeah. Aaron, sorry, people. I know there's unprofessional people. Aaron, you got to be a bit smarter to catch me there. Whatever you've just said there, I wouldn't mind your mother doing that, my guy. A little cheeky one, but please grow up, please. Because while you're doing this, your sister's probably getting shagged by the neighbor. But moving forward, and apologies for that, keeping up with the Saliba business, people. So what can you say for him, people? What can you say? Dante's probably the one experienced centre half in that Nice defense, and it's been a turbulent time, you know. On replacing him, he said, "I am replacing a big name who is unfortunately injured, but I am not putting extra pressure on myself. On the contrary, it's exciting, and I'm going to give my all to try and replace him." So he's standing up to the challenge. What more can you say? What more can you say? On relationships with fellow defenders within that Nice squad, he said, "Of course, I've started to talk with them before the game as well as on the day. It's true that after that, we made 2 mistakes, but we hope to correct that tomorrow, which is today against Metz." And again, they did make mistakes, and communication is key. As they play together, as they get to know each other, things will click to a degree. And he said it here. He said, "And it is true that we need to communicate more to ensure that we rid these errors, goals conceded, and defeats. We are in a bad run of form. We need to get out of this. Once we do, the confidence will go." Facts, and that's probably something he's indirectly seen. Maybe not playing at Arsenal, but just seeing how we've been this season and the last 3 games before he departed on loan. He also said, unmarked, if he would stay more initially. Now, again, this is going to be made more of a meal than it is, people. But he said, "I've signed a 6-month contract. After these 6 months, we'll see what happens. But for now, I have signed for 6 months, and I'm going to give my all." And, you know, he can't rule it out. Arsenal might say, "Do you know what? You need to go on another loan spell." So, again, he can't rule it out. And if he feels comfortable there, while I want him back for pre-season, which is what Mikel Arteta have said, is what it is. Now, lastly, on Mikel Arteta saying that he loaned out Saliba to protect the player, I think the best way to protect him is actually just playing him football and not playing him in big games, but he does need minutes. He said, "No, I haven't seen that. Aside from that, I have no intention of responding to what's been said. I left because I needed to play." And again, yeah, he ain't got no more time. Listen, he's got his, like you saw indirectly before, the manager's got his opinion. You know, the manager's got his opinion. Saliba would have liked to get more stuff, but more minutes, but at the same time, it is what it is. That's the manager's opinion. I've got mine. Let me go out and play football. So talking about this isn't going to get anybody anywhere. So it needs to, you know, just go out and play football and let the football do the talking. Play to the level where we say, okay, cool. It's so bewildering how Saliba's gone out on loan. Look how he's playing in France, and then look at Arsenal. You know, how were they so stupid to loan him out? What's really happened there? That's what he's got to do. In the same way I said it with Ceballos. When Ceballos came here on loan, he's got to play to the standard where Real Madrid looks stupid for loaning him out. And that's my challenge to Saliba. Can you play to the way of, you know, it looks silly that we loaned you up. We're saying, boy, with this and that, what's going on, people? So it is what it is. Make of that what you want. I see you lot laughing. Hey, Aaron, I hope you're good, man. But it's bro, come on, bro. Come on, people. Am I wrong? It's 9 minutes past 11, and man are talking about the jack thing. I'm not even gonna say it. Like, well, if that doesn't scream waste, man, I don't know what does, man. And like I said, you know, his sister's probably watching DG things or getting cheated out in the next room, and he's here giving me verbal. It don't really make sense. You know, your priorities are in the wrong place, my don. You know, hope you get the help you need, though. Hope you get the help you need, man. Hope you do, man. Big up yourself, Aaron. Hope you're doing well and safe, you twat. Anyways, people, you know, he can play on, bro. It's only a yellow card. You got off lightly compared to what some man get. You got off lightly, you know. You got off real good there. I rate you for the creativity. You tried to say Leeds and that, but Come on, man. Fix up, man. Fix up. You know, fix up, fix up. Anyways, moving forward, man. Amen. I don't know who that is. I don't know who that is, but yeah, anyone that's been blocked, they're gonna have to stay blocked because it means they probably chatted some sort of nonsense at some time. So it is what it is, man. Like, you know. Anyways, moving away from that. So we've spoken about Saliba, we've touched on Eddie and Nketiah. I'm not sure if you've all seen it, but again, and I think this is the articles just being a bit creative. You know, why would, if I'm not playing football, why would I go and sign for a manager that was kind of trying to make me a creative man? Emery, Villarreal boss, apparently he's been linked with Torreira, and again it could be a reunion. You're right, Jordan, you're right, man, you're right. You shouldn't give them anything, but at the same time, you know, sometimes, you know, you just got to give man what they want. If they want the clout, they want their name to be buzzing, your name's now buzzing, and you have to just ask, man, was it really worth it? It weren't, was it? Like, it wasn't, you know. But shout out to him. I'm sure he goes on every channels and does that. But anyways, Emery's been linked with signing Atletico for his new signing Atletico Madrid loanee Torreira for his new club Villarreal, in which, you know, Torreira, he'd still get to be in Spain, and all of those sort of things would still be the case. For me, I'm tired of talking about Torreira, seeing Torreira's name linked and things like that. You know, it's easy for Unai Emery to be linked with Torreira. You know, Torreira's best spell still came when, you know, Lucas Torreira's best spell still came when Emery was manager. He's not playing right now and things like that. So who knows? The last loanee that Villarreal had, the Real Madrid young player, it didn't work out. So who knows, people? And apparently we won him, courtesy of Google Translate. I'm trying to find the actual things that matter. Here we go, people. Apparently the 3 discards that Simeone contemplates and of which Villarreal is attentive to for the relief of Iborra. So they've got an injured player, and this is probably, again, on top of Torreira not playing and the numerous nonsense surrounding Torreira as to why he's there. But apparently, you know, I'm trying to find where it actually makes sense, people. Torreira got a start the other day. Apparently, the first of them is Kondogbia from Valencia, for which a high investment was made due to his level in the chess team, but he still does not discredit the Argentine coach. The second discard would be Saul Nunez, the footballer who in the past was one of the best. It seems that he's extinguished his spark and stagnated. So maybe after initial start to his life, Kondogbia struggled a bit, and, you know, Saul was clearly in a bit of a poor form. And apparently it's gone on to say the Uruguayan does not convince in Atletico, but who sounds like a strong option for Villarreal. Torreira could also leave. I don't think they're going to sell Kondogbia or Saul. So it seems like Torreira is the most disposable, who they've only played a long fee. You know, apparently it's gone on to clearly say, as you can see, you know, we all thought Torreira would fit perfectly into what Atletico want, but for some reason it's not worked out. And yeah, man, you know, he's played Italian football, he's played Spanish, and it's gone on to just say really that, you know, Unai Emery wants him and stuff. There's no specifics around this, which is to why I think there's no credibility really and truly surrounding it. Moving away from that, and again, Matteo Guendouzi will not be recalled. So this is just an article bit of nonsense, you know, but it has gone on to say more or less that Hertha Berlin cannot afford him. Pardon me. So you know we'll be in an interesting position with Matteo Guendouzi, because he'll have a year left on his deal. He'll be contracted until 2022. Again, I don't know if that will, the way he's playing for Hertha Berlin, will alert people to be interested. I don't know, with a year gone, you know, him and Arteta can patch things up. I don't know what's going to happen. Personally, I think, you know, he's gone. I think the man, them like Ozil, Socrates, Mustafi, Guendouzi, Torreira, them man are all gone. Like, they're gone. They're gone. As you lot know, he was loaned out by Mikel Arteta. I'm trying to find the regular part of this, people. He's made 9 appearances so far, and we all know everyone at Hertha Berlin is happy with him. You know, the board talk highly of him, and numerous people involved. His teammates mess with him a lot. So long may it continue. He's got 9 appearances, and he's also got 2 goals in his last 4. So he's doing what he needs to do. This is old, people. He said, we're glad we managed to recruit him. He's a very, very good player who has a sense of space and is very technically gifted. And I think he's showing that at Hertha Berlin. Still needs to improve a lot defensively. I hardly say he's improving in that aspect. Not that he's doing bad. It's just I'm seeing the same Guendouzi in a different shirt. Although he's young, he gives instructions. He doesn't care at all that he does not speak the language. And that's one thing you like about him. Like Saliba, he's got personality. And they're 2 lone players I'd like to see brought back and involved in some capacity. Blind have claimed he's set to return to Arsenal, either to challenge for a place or to be sold. You got to remember, just before the Brighton game where it sealed his fate. Do you not remember? There was actually talk around Guendouzi signing a new deal at Arsenal, and then that quickly went out the window. I'm gonna see if there's still articles around it, man. You know, like you can see here, the Daily Cannon. You know, there was a talk over a new deal. You know, let's plug some other people and see what happens here. Daily Cannon. Let's see what you're on. Yeah, this is what I'm saying. It was reported during the summer that he was gonna get a deal. I'm sure. Look, see. He was meant to get a deal in the summer. This is August 2019, people. Just before, obviously, the season that unfolded. So he was, you know, whatever happened there, it was left on the table. And maybe that's with Hosfami leaving. And that's my problem with Arsenal. Regardless what you think about these players, we need to be proactive. You've got now, you know, Kolasinac has gone out on loan. That sealed his fate. But you've got Kolasinac, Torreira, you've got Kolasinac, you've got Eddie Nketiah, who we've spoken about. You've got Guendouzi. You've got a lot of players who are out of contract until 2022. So we're going to go into the summer with more speculation over these things. I think Guendouzi's got a lot of potential, and I think if we were to sell him, it's, you know, we'd still make a profit on the 6-7 million or whatever we spent on him. But it'd be a thing where, and I'd understand it because of what's happened, but it's just a case of there's unfinished business. You know, he's, you know, despite his young age, at a point he started 35 games. You know, I like him. He just needs a clip on the ears and saying, calm it down. I like his personality. I listen. Other players have been afforded chances. When I see how allegedly David Luiz, based on reports, has been disruptive and has been trying to get at Arteta, and you've got the Willian stuff and things like that, personally, I can't see how Guendouzi cannot not be given a chance. But it is what it is. It is what it is in that regards, people. We'll have to see. So again, I do think we're playing catch up with contracts yet again. We all know Hertha Berlin probably won't keep him permanently unless it's a bargain basement. Apparently, they've already lined up a replacement for him, and they're going for Yannick Gerhard of Wolfsburg, as you lot can see. Apparently, Arteta wants to trim the squad, so that means at least in January, nothing is going to happen, people. Like, at least in relation to bringing Guendouzi in and major departures. I know Mesut Ozil is linked with a move away and things like that. On the topic of Mesut Ozil, we all know he's entitled to loyalty bonus, in which I would be trying to take. There's emerging reports every day now, people, that you know, he's going to sign on a initial loan at Fenerbahce and then complete a free transfer. Apparently, Arsenal will agree to a termination of his contract. But again, he's within his rights to get his loan thing. The Mirror have gone on to say, you know, Ozil is believed to be on the cusp of a move to Fenerbahce after the door was closed to return to first team action. It was initially thought that he would join the Super League side on loan for the rest of the season, with the Gunners picking up his wages before his contract expires. However, he may be free to make the long-term move this month, as Arsenal are planning on terminating his contract if an agreement can be met. Did we not try that already? So maybe it is what it is now. Turkish reporter, as you lot can see, not you, Mikel Arteta, has claimed that he could receive more than 7 million as part of the agreement, which if Arsenal don't have money, that's a serious problem. But I'm sure we're happy to see the back of him. So it looks like Ozil sadly played his last game for this club, and it's a shameful way to leave for someone that's won a couple of FA Cups at this football club, people. Moving away from that, 1 second, people. I think someone's at my door. Apologies, people. I was bugging out. I thought someone rang my doorbell. Apologies, people. I'm expecting an Amazon package. But away from that, you know, Charles Watts has got another article. Hey, Charles, man, come, let's do a video, bro. I'm like the hood version of you, man. Only our upbringing has changed us, but you can connect through this Arsenal thing. Come on, my guy, man. We can, you know, you got the goal.com thing. I got the streets. We can make some stuff happen, man. But either way, it's more holding propaganda. Mikel Arteta believes his decision to block a loan move, or a move, better yet, away for Rob Holding last summer has been vindicated. Vindicated. I can't say that word, but either way, that's what it says. Afternoon, my guy. The police are at my door for bodying Aaron. Aaron's a snitch. Can't respect that. But either way, going on with Holding, you know, he's gone on to make 18 appearances in all comps this season. He started 13 of the 17 in the league. He was going to start at Man City away, and then he got injured, and it's been a resurgence. I don't think he's as bad. I think Holding's one of them man people scapegoat. I think Holding's a decent centre half. I do think he does some stupid stuff. Like, even you're never really confident in him because he plays well and then will do some brainless things. But I think he's good enough to be a squad centre half. Sorry, nothing more than that. You know, I think you need 5 centre halves, and I would like Gabriel, Saliba long term, until Marie shows me he's not levels, I'll use Marie, potentially another centre half as well. And you'd have Holding there really and truly. And at 25 years of age, I think he deserves his new deal based on how he's played. You know, we'll make a little profit on the 2 million. We've got to look after the homegrown stuff. And yeah, he's done it. You know, to be fair, when he got injured, he was in a good run of form and he's now got back to that level. You know, he had a period when he did not play. Then he played against Leeds at home in the FA Cup in January 2020, sorry. When you compare how he has developed from then to now in a year's time, it's incredible. It's down to him, how professional he is, how much he wants to learn, how much he puts into every training session, and then his character and his personality. And that character and personality saw him captain the team at Everton. He's growing in every aspect. I'm really happy with him. And I don't think Holding is someone that's going to kick up a fuss if he isn't playing. I don't think he's someone that gives problems. I do think he's someone that tries his hardest. I just think he's a decent backup, nothing more. It's true that in the summer he came to me because he had a large amount of, we had a large amount of centre halves and he was not sure how many minutes he was going to have. We stopped him going anywhere because we knew he was going to be an important player for us. So he had doubts, but he's proved it, you know. And if you're playing well, you do what you need to do. And he's also said it's what I see on a daily basis with him. Hey, yo, what's all of that? What's Google Maps coming up for? Anyways, apologies for that. It's what I see on a daily basis with him and the room he still has for improvement at his age. And he's only 25. He should be coming into the era of your own at centre half now. I really like what I see, and he has earned that right himself. It's true there have been many other conditions for him to play that many matches because we have injuries, we have other issues, but he has earned that right. Nobody can question that when he's played, he's performed well. So again, you know, that's quite true for Holding. So big up Rob Holding. Moving away from that, and Martinelli, you know, has spoken more or less the same old, really. Know what is going on here. I think I hit a button. I don't care about what Celtic are trying to do. You know, it's all about Martinelli. He's gone on to say, where is what Martinelli said, man? Move, man. What's all these ads? I hate when articles do this. Shout out to Louis Barry of Aston Villa as well. He also bagged. You get, you know, I shout out to Martinelli's mum, but I'm not even trying to really listen to what your mum said. You know, the relevant part for me is here. I still have a scar on my left foot to prove that it happened, but I did not stop playing. I kept playing. The only thing that changed was after a while, mum stopped me installing the glass there. Again, that's something that's happened in Brazil. It's a bit irrelevant for me now that we see he's returned after 6 months, and at 19, that is quite, you know, he was shot. It's true, you know, he must have, you know, he had to be patient for his chances at Arsenal. He then started playing, and then, you know, it was fantastic, and then he got really shot down, really riding high in April, shot down in May, sort of thing, and with that injury with his knee. But you know, it's better to get these things young than, you know, when you're 28 years of age and whatnot. And we just hope that that's the end of it. He said, Mikel talked to me during my recovery, always calling me to know how I was. Even when I returned to Brazil for a time in August when the club needed me, he talked to me again, asking if I was feeling ready to play. I said yes. I still feel a bit of pain in the knee, but the doctor said that it is fine. I've not been able to play 90 minutes yet, but it also needs time. My focus is on getting better and helping Arsenal. I love you, Martinelli, man. What a player, man. What a player. Again, I hear that his mum telling him to study and all of these things. I hear that, but it's not really relevant for me. You know, we know he had a trial at Manchester United at 13. Martinelli and his family always envisioned him playing in Europe. And again, you know, like a lot of South Americans, you know, the promised land is Europe. You know, I'm sure a lot of them would like you know, let's be honest, the riches and all of these things, they're all here. And it doesn't matter how you get here, whether you're like Martinelli and you can get at Arsenal. A lot of people, you know, already go like to Ukraine and things like that. So yeah, or now you're seeing people bought for 40-50 million from Madrid. So Europe is the end goal. It don't matter how you get there. And it's gone on to speak about, you know, the interest in him. You know, he was doing his thing at Corinthians. For whatever reason, he left. You know, he had a trial at United. He said, for 3 or 4 years, I used to practice at Manchester United. I'll come to England usually in the middle of the year for about 2 weeks to 20 days, more or less. So what does that tell you? That's probably just in line with, you know, the relationship Manchester United had. So that, you know, some players would get to come and be trained by Man United players, Man United coaches, and see the levels. And it's an experience at the end of the day. I know China do that with a lot of Spanish, their internationals, youth players, and a lot of Chinese base and a lot of Chinese players go to, you know, the B teams in Spain to get experience and things like that. So yeah, he said it's a great experience because I could see how European players behaved, how they defend, how they attacked, how fast it is in their game. So we'll never know how much this helped him. He said, I improved a lot and I brought it all back with me to Brazil, always trying to secure my place in the team. My dream was to play in Europe, and those practices in England helped me to do it. He signed at 16. We all know, we got him as a young player. He said, I could not say a word in English. Of course, I felt the pressure of this move, but I had to do it. It was my dream, my family's dream. My dad and father helped, my mum and father helped me a lot, always being by my side. I talk to them three or four times a day. He's a teenager. We expect that. He's, we didn't want Martinez to leave, but he's also spoken about how Martinez was a the South American sort of link up looking after him. He's also, paid homage to David Luiz, Willian, and Gabriel there as well. So big up Martinelli. Rio Ferdinand rates him. Jurgen Klopp rates him, as you can see here. He's spoken about the injury. He said, I was about to receive the ball and I felt a little pain on my knee. Not enough for me to stop practicing, but while we were on a finishing session, I told them that I was in pain. They told me to rest, and if I felt the pain the next day, to let them know. When I woke up, I felt it, but I was able to walk. I thought it was nothing at first, but it was a pain I'd never felt before. I went to the club, for examinations, and they said it was not good, and I would need surgery. It broke me. I cried a lot, and these are the things where you've got to think. These things are going to make me, they're not going to break me. They're going to make me. And he's 19 years of age. I don't know if he's had any other injuries, but, he's accomplished his, initially anyways, he's accomplished his family's dream. They've moved to Europe. He's having a good time at Arsenal. Things are starting to work hard. He's finally reaping the benefits of actually, working hard, and he's been shot down. He's been injured. And like I said, it's an occupational hazard of the game. You're going to have to learn. And to be fair, maybe it's better it happened now when everything was happening for you great at Arsenal. And, this is a reminder that no matter how great life goes, things can always change. So in bad moments, keep positive that, your life can always change when everything's going wrong, that it can get better. And when everything's going well for you, keep not saying he wasn't humble, but keep humbleness and be prepared for things to change, people. So it's quite sad, but it's better that he's had his 6 months off, and we take our time with his injuries, and it doesn't become something that how do I make it make sense? Something that is always playing on his career now, like you see him with Wilshere. Maybe if Jack Wilshere had that proper surgery he needed to have early on in his career, he maybe wouldn't have had these niggling injuries beyond the impact ones, people. So yeah, he said he cried a lot. Like he said, he could not afford to lose time. He shedded a tear, but you can't feel sorry for yourself. And it was a shame how, he got sucked out of being involved in the FA Cup and all of those things that I think he deserved. He also said, I'm not going to speak about that. You can see it there yourself. But he said, I have so many dreams in mind, such as representing Brazil. But first, I need to focus on my recovery and help Arsenal with my football. I think of the rest after I do that. So again, I'm sure, let's be honest, I'm sure he's spoken about wanting to win, win Champions League and all these things for Arsenal. But I'm sure he's dreamed of playing for Madrid and Barcelona and all of these clubs one day. And I think he will end up there. So I think we've actually just got to enjoy him while he's actually here, personally, people. So yeah, I think we've spoken about Saliba, spoken about Eddie, spoken about Emery and Torreira, Guendouzi, Ozil, and Holding and Martinelli have all been covered as well. So yeah, we've done quite well there, people. So I can actually stop sharing screen. What are you guys saying? He does have a buzz. I hate the comparison, people. What are you lot saying? Can't lie, this has been quite smooth. Please make sure you're hitting the like button, and you're also checking out the pinned message, people. Live stream business, 4:45 today. Watch along business, Arsenal versus Newcastle in the FA Cup. Make sure you're attentive to that, and you've opened up a new tab. You've hit the reminder on that, and all of those sort of things there, people. And the like button, and I'll see you then for that one. What are you lot saying in the comments? You lot are doing the most. Hit the like button. Holding needs to work on his positioning to not get exposed, but I do agree. Guendouzi is a baller. Saka did get player of the month. Well deserved. Well deserved for Bukayo Saka. Well deserved. Hit the like button, people. It takes a couple of seconds, if that. So yeah, that's something to record as well. Matt Smith, watch at Swindon, man. We've spoken about Balogun at length. You might have to click out of this. You might have to click out of this video. Sorry, people, and go and check something else. Louis Barry's a great player. Hopefully he develops. I've already spoken about Eddie Nketiah, so scroll back. I'm not going to sound like a broken clock and go again. I wouldn't mind if Partey starts today, but only for me if fully fit. There's no point risking his health if not, or we're back to square one. Oba isn't good enough for our squad, doesn't have much about him. What? Okay. I think that's cap, my guy, because the guy, come on now, let's not, you don't become a bad player overnight. Yeah, he's in bad form and things like that, but come on now, bro. It's not making sense, my guy. That the man pulled us through. Let's have some balance, man. Not good enough. Come on, man. It's doing a lot. You can have criticisms over Aubameyang, but come on, man. Don't rewrite history. That's cap. Extreme cap. I appreciate you. That I appreciate that, D, man. Make sure you're there. Make sure everyone else is there, man. I've offered my opinions on Saliba. Scroll back, my guy. I'm not going to go over the same things again and again. And you're right of that. That will also happen. The game is on BBC. I actually, before this live stream, I actually made sure I looked, and that's like I actually know where the hell it is. It is on that. So yeah, man. Get one more question if I keep it moving. Come on, my guy. Well, not really, because it's irrelevant what they're doing at youth level, really and truly, to a degree. Eddie Nketiah has been given more game time than Balogun. Yeah, he would say that, but he's a 19-year-old man, and I've been down this block. I listen. I'm not saying he doesn't want to do that, but at 19 years of age, impressionable kid. We've taken a chance for him. Let's see what he's saying when he's become the player we think he's going to be. Because at some stage, he's going to wonder that, maybe I need to move. And he's not an Arsenal. He didn't grow up as an Arsenal fan. He didn't grow up here in London. So he's got really no allegiances to us. So that time will come when he keeps it moving personally. So we'll have to see what happens, man. I hope we do smash Newcastle, but at the same time, football matches are won on the pitch. So let's hope we can do that. Smash up the like button. Watch out for Andy Carroll. He's got a good record against us as well. It's an open book. We know Aubameyang doesn't have much to him if he's not scoring goals, but at the same time, strikers are there to score goals, and excluding this season, he's done that in abundance. So until you're going to find a striker that can do the general play and that, you can't really get him. And it does sound a bit reactionary, I can't lie, to say he's not good enough for the squad when this man has dragged us, really and truly dragged us. This goal drought that we're seeing from Aubameyang, I think it's been coming. I've always said in my videos, it's a miracle how this man is scoring goals because we're not playing to his strengths. So it is what it is in that regard. Depends, man. I think he's giving some youth players opportunities, but I would have thought the Saliba one, we know there's other variables, but I would have expected to see a bit more proactiveness over Saliba. I thought he would have, put his hat on Nelson a bit more. I would have thought there would have been a plan for Eddie and Joe a bit, but it is what it is, man. Decent, man. A tenacious midfielder. I don't think he's going to make it here. I always want people to make it here, but I think that's a task too hard. But I've been impressed. He clearly is someone that trains the way he plays. He's got a good energy. He works hard for his teammates. He's a good player, man. He's a good player. Big up Akinola. So yeah, man. We'll have to see, man. We'll have to see. And it's a case, Arsenal shouldn't bend over backwards for young players, but at the same time, young players should be able to dictate. It's a game of interest. Football is a game of interest. And to be fair with you, I'm not saying Arsenal, and I won't name the club, but there's a lot of clubs that do a lot of snaky and snide things around young players signing new deals, not allowing them to actually play football and crushing their development. There's a lot of bullying clubs do. If people could understand the full picture and the nonsense clubs come with, I think they'd have a bit more thingy. A bit more appreciation. Now you're allowed that. A lot of people have been saying that about Eddie, my guy, but again, I think extending his deal was a great decision because we wasn't going to pay the 60-70 million or whatever to find another striker. Lacazette, Lacazette got player of the year, rightly so, because he played well. I know you know, the better player has won the Golden Boot. If you're a striker, the better player is the one that scores more goals. Again, player of the season comes down to the fans' vote. Aubameyang, you can't remove him from history records. You know, in a couple of years from now, is that a man going to remember Arsenal's player of the year, or they're going to remember Aubameyang? And to be fair with you, out of Lacazette and Aubameyang, who's been more value for money? It's as simple as that. You know, as great as Lacazette is, you know, Lacazette, we find, and I do it as well. You know, I do it as well. We find not excuses, but we rate in Lacazette for things that he should be coming with anyways. We completely forget about the goal scoring because of his energy, because of his pressing, because of his link-up play. These are all things we thought we was getting and more. You know, Lacazette hasn't, you know, Lacazette's underperformed since he signed for Arsenal, really and truly. He's shown patches, and I'm not even trying to get at Lacazette because really both of them have their own criticisms. I'd love them both to play people. And it's like he said, hey, bro, we didn't score 20 league goals. Whatever way you shape on it, like, you get it. You can't get at Lacazette. You can't get at Aubameyang for just scoring goals and then get at Lacazette for not. Now, again, I get it, you know. Both of them got different strengths, and this is why it's the squad game. And that's why I'm saying I think Arteta, is going to buy a striker. I don't think he's convinced on Aubameyang through the middle, rightly so. Lacazette, I don't think he's 100% convinced, rightly so. So only time will tell what we're going to see, man. He has. Bearman got it, people. Bearman got it. Bro, people get at Firmino for not scoring enough goals. Arteta, Thingy did as well, you know. And to be fair, Lacazette and the Firmino are on two different levels. Firmino's general playing creativity is way better than Lacazette's. Lacazette's creative play is overstated, in my opinion, humbly. So yeah, man, I don't think that one's there. And to be fair with you, if you never had the goal scorers of Salah and Mane either side, you're gonna be looking a bit side eyes at Firmino, same way we are at Lacazette, man. So yeah, hopefully these players can keep going in form and things like that. Hopefully, man. I don't think he's underperforming. Historically, he's underperformed at Arsenal. I don't think he's underperforming right now. I don't think Lacazette is underrated, because to be underrated, there's got to be things to rate you on. Like, I don't think there's anything more you can rate Lacazette on. You know, man can see he's a good player, general play, pressing, all of these sort of things. Is what it is. No, I don't agree, and that's not a criticism of Emil Smith Rowe. Football's a squad game. What happens when Smith Rowe drops out of the team? What happens when he's injured? What happens when he's not in form? We're gonna need people to pick up the kettle, to actually, you know, pick up the mantelpiece. What have you said, Josh? Of course, but look at the different teams, different kettle of fishes. But that's the point, and that's irrelevant then, because we're not Liverpool. You know, if Firmino was at Arsenal, where we don't have consistent goal scorers, then we're going to be looking at Firmino a different way. And he's still get onto him for not scoring goals. And he was assigned for 50 million, really, you know. Lacazette's a quality player, man, but we have to keep it true, man. We don't need to get at Aubameyang. We don't need to overgas Lacazette. To get at Lacazette, we don't need to overgas Aubameyang. They've got different strengths. They both should be used over a 38-game calendar, 25-man squad. You know, I hope you're right, but I think that world-class thing. It's a bit like, man, talk about legends. That world-class thing is banged around too much. Let's hope he can. I know, based on 70 minutes, maybe you can. You know, Mbappe, you only need to see 10 minutes, or Messi to see that. So let's hope Balogun can, and it could be for Arsenal. But who knows, my guy. I mean, there can't be a fan who doesn't rate Lacazette, even if you don't think Lacazette isn't the striker that you expected. You have to rate Lacazette, and that's why I say he's a squad striker. I don't think people underappreciate what he can give you in a team, you know. And football's a squad game. And when you look at Arsenal, rightly or wrongly, a lot of these players are hot and cold. Like Aubameyang's thrown into it this year, but historically he was always scoring goals. But based on this year, if it's not Saka, Partey to a degree, Gabriel, Tierney, Martinelli to a degree, maybe I'm missing out one name, but other people are hot and cold. You know, Pepe's gone through hot and cold moments. Holding, Bellerin, you know, Xhaka, El Nene, Lacazette, Joe Willock, even off the back of Europa and starting against Leeds, Ceballos. These people, they're not consistent over a 38-game period. And to be fair, I think we've got too many of those. To be fair with you, I agree. There's been a number of reasons for Lacazette's underperforming, but at what point do you look at Lacazette and say you're not doing it for you? Like I always say, winners take accountabilities. You know, there was a time Lacazette's had injuries, loss of form, being subbed like 60th minute, you know, all of these sort of things. But then to a degree, you have to ask, why is that happening? Why is that happening? And you have to say, at what reason do these become excuses? And be Lacazette. And, you know, I've been saying it, Lacazette's a great player. He's a good player. He's good enough to score 20 league goals. Only he can tell me why he hasn't bagged that. Simple as that, because other strikers are doing it. Simple as that, man. That just, and Josh, that just sounds like a slide comment, because none of us at Arsenal is gonna get us league titles, and that just screams, that just screams just being silly and just pointing the two players against each other. Because if by that logic, Aubameyang's goals literally won us the FA Cup. Lacazette's goals didn't really do anything. If we want to win a league title, it's beyond Lacazette and Aubameyang, really and truly. They're both two strikers. Why do fans always have to do this sissy boy thing, man, where we have to compare both? We can't just like both. Like, we got to do a madness, man. Always that, man. It's jarring. Be fair with you, we've got to play our informed players, and Lacazette has to play, really and truly. And that's why I'm keen to see what happens today, really. Will it be Lacazette? Will Eddie get minutes? Will he go with Aubameyang to get minutes and things like that? I don't know, man. I'm keen to see. I think striker and midfield are the areas. Will Gabriel even come back in the lineup? I hope Smith Rowe will be world class, but let's let the man develop. He's played 3 games on the trot for Arsenal. Because I'm not saying you, but the same claims people will give them, like Balogun, like I've just read out, Balogun and Smith Rowe are going to be world class. What happens when they have that bad game? Let's just take our time. Let these young men develop, man. Goals win games, and I'm rocking with Aubameyang, man. But yeah, man, it's goal. At the end of the day, goals win games. But I think Aubameyang's the better striker. You give them both a football. Of course, a Lacazette looks wavy, but goals win games. Love the both of them, man. I want to see them both play. Yeah, I compared them, but I'm not. You're fanboying, like you're drawing out Aubameyang at the expense of Lacazette. Why can't you just like them both and criticize and praise them both? This is what I'm talking about. The fanboy thing is dead. Like, bro, world class is getting banged around way too quickly, bro. Way too quickly, man. I think that's I don't think that's I don't think we played to Lacazette's strengths or Aubameyang's, but at the same point, like with Aubameyang's form right now, I can cut him the excuses of, he's not being played well and all of these things are happening. But at some point, you have to look at a player isn't performing because of him and him alone, And I think that's it. You don't become a bad player overnight, but you have to go back to basics. Balogun's a quality striker, but Arsenal fans are doing this thing where you act like man of the messiahs, If he leaves, he leaves. You selling him in the summer. I'm selling Lacazette in the summer if we're saying we're not going to sign a new deal for him. He's contracted until 2022. Take of that what you will. To be fair, I wouldn't mind him running down his deal, because how much are you going to get for Lacazette? Again, like I've said, I think people underappreciate Lacazette, or underappreciate just having another striker in the team. Josh, I've already spoken about Eddie and Nketiah and things, so I'm not going to go over the same stuff again. Forgive me, man. That's it, bro. Like, you don't need to do the fanboy thing. Like, you don't need to do the fanboy thing. What else, man? Bro, world class is just, man don't know what they're talking about, man. And he might be, but it's crazy. Backup goalie is an area, I think we need, listen, I'm not going to lie. I think Leno's a quality player, but I've always said it. I think if the squad was in the way we would like it to be, and we wasn't talking about the midfield and all of these areas, I can't lie, I'd be looking at a goalie. I think Leno's a good goalie, but I think he's a bit suspect. I'm not going to lie to you. By that same token, I guess we need 2 goalies, but definitely we need 1. Leno, I can have my criticisms, but Leno can stay being the guy. But Runnison, the less said about him, the better. If I think it's suicide to play him today, man. It's crazy, man. Bro, I agree. Eddie needs to go somewhere he's going to play football, man. Like, just go somewhere you're going to play football consistently, not this occasional cup game, the 10 minutes and all of these sort of things. It's not making sense. And there's just too much reactionary, because even again, people are slagging off Lacazette. And to be fair, Lacazette was playing poor. Lacazette, like Aubameyang, they're big on confidence. Now you can see Lacazette, he's shooting from dumb areas now. Couple of weeks ago, he's trying to tap-ins, they're going under his foot, he's missing headers on the line. So it is what it is. I do agree with this. Defense wins titles, and it's not just our defense, it's our midfield. We don't have, listen, we can't even talk about that, man. We can't even talk about that. Bro, my guy, we've gone past you, my guy. We're not talking literally about you. We're going broadly talking about fanboying. You know, we're talking about the key of fanboying, when man just to use Lacazette, they've got to get at Aubameyang. To gas Aubameyang, they've got to get at Lacazette. That's not what we need. I see it with United fans, with Marcus Rashford versus Martial. We need to support both of them, you know. And to be fair, you did come across as even though that comment's not about you, or what people are saying in the chat isn't about you, it does come across as fanboying and slide comments when you said what you said. So yeah, man, you're gonna have to all the time out. You're normally sensible, but you're letting your head get to you, man. You're mashing up yourself right now. How impressed are you with Villarreal? Well, Emery's Villarreal. They're doing all right. They're doing their thing. You know, shout out to Emery. Shout out to Emery. Morning, I hope you're there. Like you said, you know, Leno's the least of our problems. That's why I said, my guy, if everything was how we want it to be, or how any Arsenal fan would picture it in terms of wanting to do major business, I would. But Leno, there's way deeper problems than Leno. Way deeper problems than Leno. And at least one luxury I'll say to Leno, since you've brought the man here, there's not been a sturdy defense. And like I said earlier, I think when you sign people, they've got to be pieces to a puzzle. You know, you brought in Leno, you finally got a goalie. So you need to have two competent centre halves. You need to have two good right fullbacks. And I still think not a lot has been solved in that. Tierney's doing what he needs to do. You know, Bellerin's form is there, but is he going to nail it down? Is Maitland-Niles going to nail it down? Centre half, I know Gabriel's there. I know Holding's looking all right. I know Marie's looking all right. Are they going to nail it down? Do you know? Saliba's gone out on loan. I hope it's him, but is he going to nail it down? Midfield, we all know if there's no Partey, there's no party. And when Partey is playing in central midfield, who's a levels partner? If I said to you, look, let's make this the Ceballos, a form can change everything, but let's make the Ceballos thing permanent. Are you lot going to take him? If I said, you know, El Nene, new deal, a lot of people were very reactionary and were crying about new deals. Is it the right thing to do? Xhaka, let's be real. You know, he has good form. Is it levels? Do you get it? Joel Willock, again, listen, I don't want him gone, but is it levels? You know, there's not, listen, a team that aspires to be top four, even though we can't get it right now, if we can't tell you a levels partnership, like if we was to go to all different Arsenal fans, we'd all say a different midfield pivot, but I'm pretty sure Partey would be there. So what does that tell you? Whether you think it should be Ceballos, El Nene or Xhaka, none of them are really levels. It's that simple. So there's a lot of problems. Like you said, my guy, Leno's the least of our problems. But for me, if like everything was patterned, I'd be looking at Leno personally. I'd be looking at that Leno thing personally. I want Partey to play, but only if Partey's fully fit. I don't want to do this what we did against Spurs. Even if he's 98% fit, don't play him. Unless he's 100% fit, we've done all of the tests and his levels, that's the only way I'd like to see him play. You know, if he's not levels like that, then he needs to, you know, forget it, because I don't want to lose him. You know, we lost the battle. We tried to use him in a battle against Spurs, and we ended up losing the battle and the war in that we were now without Partey for a significant period of time. We need Partey, you know, so don't play a man if he's not fit. You know, the players will always need saving from themselves. They're always going to want to play. Someone like Partey is always going to want to play. And that's it, man. Ceballos can't even get out El Nene's shadow. For me, I've been very disappointed with Ceballos generally at Arsenal, because I wanted him to play to the sake of like, oh, Real Madrid was so stupid to loan him to us. And I haven't seen that. I see a good technical footballer, but I see nothing else. I see the reasons why you're not playing at Madrid. You don't dictate the tempo of a game enough. You're not smart enough with the ball. You're still taking too many chances, too many touches. The best midfielders do things in less touches, like Modric. You know, average midfielders will take five touches to do things. You know, Modric might do it in 2 or do it in 1. Do you get it? The best midfielders do recycle the ball quickly and efficiently. So it is what it is, man. So yeah, but you know, Ceballos permanent. People are gonna say no. El Nene permanent. Gonna say no. Xhaka first choice. Man are gonna say no. Is what it is. Again, I haven't seen him to really comment on him. I ain't seen this done. I haven't seen him. I don't know if he's better than Ronison. I don't know what he's on. Like, I haven't seen Donny before, but, you know, if he is, bring him true, man. I would like to see Guendouzi come into our midfield, but for this season, it is a myth. You know, it is a myth. And I wouldn't mind the Brentford keeper. He's going to be third choice, probably a bit too early, but, you know, let him be third choice and things like that. To be fair, he could. He won them a Champions League. I haven't seen Ceballos do anything like that. I haven't seen Ceballos be a mainstay in the team. And to be fair with you, what does that tell you? Even though they're at different periods, what does that tell you? That there's question marks, really and truly. You know, Bell was a bit disrespect. Bell's one was different at Madrid. He's a bit disrespected, man. I don't agree with that. They would have loaned him out, but I think there would have been more of a plan. Like, look at Odegaard. You know, Odegaard had a banging loan spell now, and he's involved. the thing is, I think English football can be at it because it's not like he's scared. He puts himself around. Like even against West Brom, he put in a number of interceptions. I can't put my finger on it. I just don't think he's playing with the mature. I don't think he's playing with the maturity. I don't think Ceballos' football IQ is as high as I thought it was. Like I would have thought, being at Madrid and playing for Spain for a number of years, you would do things in less touches. There'd be a bit more clarity. I do like him. I do think he can still show me these things, but I've just, when you see a player under the microscope a bit more and they're not the level that you thought they were. It's not that they're not a bad player. It's just they're not the level you thought they were. So it is what it is in that regards. Bro, Kovacic is a baller. Kovacic is a baller. There's nothing wrong with him being better than Ceballos. Kovacic is a baller. Seeing United fans get at him, it's quite sad. Bro, Buendia, people forget Buendia primarily has been playing on the right, but I do think long-term he could be groomed into playing into that role near Partey. Personally, I think we need 2 central midfielders, but we'll have to see, man. Well, I think Ozil actually saw his best football in recent years under Arteta when he was initially brought in, so it is what it is. Yeah, and that's it. Why is it a preference? If it's just about preference, come and play to this. This is what I'm saying. If it's just down to preference, I want you to play to the standard or play at the standard where you're Arsenal's first name on the team sheet. If Ceballos leaves tomorrow, are people going to cry? We should be begging him to stay. We should be like, oh, Real Madrid's midfield really must be tough if he can't play. Zidane, Real Madrid were struggling last season. And, he could have been like, how did Zidane loan him out? So I do think Ceballos is a good player. I'm just saying, I just don't think he's as good as I thought he was. I don't think he's of the level I thought he was. And I think it's quite amazing that he's actually playing consistently for Spain, really. It's not that I've been underwhelmed's the right word. I've been underwhelmed with the signing of Ceballos. I still think he's a decent player. I actually like how he doesn't hide when winning the ball, but I just think the way he manipulates the ball, trying to dictate the tempo of a game, leaving your mark on the game, it's not really there. Like for me, I just said it. Ceballos played very good against West Brom and he's up there for interceptions. But to general fans, West Brom, who are we talking about? Smith Rowe. And there's nothing wrong with this, you can't pick a man of the match of that West Brom game, but you're saying Smith Rowe, Saka, Lacazette, you're not saying Ceballos. And I want it to be the Ceballos show. When men are leaving the games, we're speaking of Ceballos. Like we'll be like, oh yeah, Ceballos did his thing. Xhaka, he did what he did. Bellerin did all right. In fact, Bellerin's even another name I said before him as well. And this is it. We should be begging Ceballos to stay. We should have been punched. It should have been a thing where we're even lucky to have him back for a second loan spell. He should be playing consistently. And I think he's got a chance now. He took an opportunity that when Elneny got dropped, so he might start today, or maybe Elneny's back in. But you need it, man. So yeah, man. Not a clue, my guy, but that's who we need, bro. Cesc Fabregas sort of man. Sorry, Two Guns, Tony. Please read out the questions instead of just responding. Some of us are working at the moment and can't see the screen. That's harsh. I've said it sometimes, but yeah, man. I'm all for constructive criticisms. Apologies, Two Guns, Tony. You got 2 guns. I don't really want to. I'm just a YouTuber. It's a bit aggressive, weren't it? 2 Guns, Tommy. I will, man. Just for 2 Guns, Tony. Even though I was going to keep it moving, just for him. Who would you want to play next to Partey for the rest of the season? And it's a tough one. I don't really think it's a form thing. The only thing that can really change it for me is form, because I don't think Xhaka is a bad player, but it's like I'm not really screaming Xhaka Partey. I'm not really Ceballos Partey was what I'd probably be on the most. But again, based on what I've said, I'm like, is it really that? I'd like Joe to get opportunities, but is he moving 30 like that? And then his form's been good. Personally, I think the last 4 or 5 years have 4 or 5 games. Sorry, not 4 or 5 years. 4 or 5 games. El Nene's been dropping really and truly. So it is what it is. I don't think there really is one. I think it's a form thing. Whoever's playing the best at the time, personally. I wouldn't mind Ceballos because in theory, he's a bit more agile on box to box than Xhaka. He should be that guy who can dictate the tempo of a game. Obviously, you've got Partey, who's primarily there to put a foot in, but can obviously break down play and put a foot in and do the and pass the ball forward as well. So I would say that, but in real times, it's not really 30 like that, is it? It's not really. So I can't really say with my heart who, there's not really Mid, and that's the, and Joe, I'd like Joe, you know, Joe's form, you know, if you play, I'm a big fan. If you're training well and you're playing well and you're taking your chances, you should get an opportunity. I'm not too sure he was one of the standouts. I think he came into form towards the end of the season, personally, when or the turn of the year when Ceballos got a look in. I wouldn't say he's a standout consistently, and we're seeing more of the same, or in that we're hoping that we see more of the same, really and truly. So I would like Basuma, but again, if Basuma and Partey is there, you're gonna have to bring in an 8.5. You're gonna have to bring in a 10, or you're gonna have to let Smith Rowe to do that. He boy could be boy. And I do like that from Ceballos as well. He does give everything in every game. You know, he puts himself around. He does like to get in a bit of handbags and things. But I just want to see a bit more. I want to see why Real Madrid bought you. You know, you should be teaching these man or showing these man what it means to be a central midfielder. You've been around Toni Kroos, Modric, all of these things. I wanted him to play well to the point where I could say, all right, cool. You can understand, you can forgive a man for not being able to break ahead of them quality players, but you show that your levels, and I don't think he's shown that he's levels. You know, you should El Nene shouldn't be ahead of you in the pecking order. If he is, it's because he's a more tactical fit because of what we might be doing with Partey. Not none of that. But I like Ceballos, man. I just have to call it as I see it, really and truly, man. Really. I don't think he does. You know, he probably won't be in the squad. I see where you're going with, but you know, Partey is one of the only competent midfielders. So I'd rather the clueless ones fly forward and someone that can actually break down play or can read something would stay back, man. I would like to see Maitland now start at right back. I don't know for Maitland now in midfield because I give him an opportunity and stuff, but there's got to be a reason as to why nobody's put a hat on him and said you're going to get an opportunity. I do think he's a bit too lax in possession to do that as well. But I say that could be said for numerous other men that have been given these opportunities in the middle of the park, man. I agree he should finish his loan spell. You know, we sent him out for a loan. I don't think he's going to come back a dramatically better player based on what I've seen. You know, I still haven't really seen. Don't have to make it make sense. Improvements defensively, but he's still playing well, you know. And that was in that West Brom game, wasn't it? Where Ceballos broke this season's record for most interceptions by a player in a match, and that's what I want to see a bit more, as well as showing me your technical level. You know, I think you're overdoing it, saying he's too slow and weak and not good enough for the under-23s. I think that's forcing it a bit. You know, William, not that Pepe's been amazing, but William will only start over Pepe because he's got something over Arteta, really. There's not a logical reason for that, in my opinion. Even there's a lot of talk about, you know, he gives you a lot defensively. I think them ones there even are overstated people. But we have to see what happens in that regards, man. But I can't lie, people, it's 12 o'clock. You know, I'm going to be back again for the live stream. I'm going to lock this one off. Please hit the like button. If you want to be there for the Arsenal versus Newcastle live watch along, please make sure you've obviously checking out the pinned message. It should be there. Obviously, if you're not going to do that, check the YouTube community tab. I will be posting it there. And yeah, make sure you're hitting the like button, man. But for now, you know, it's time to go and get some food. I ain't even had breakfast yet. You know, would actually like to drink this water that's now gone warm because I've been speaking with you guys. So yeah, man, I'll be back again, people. And yeah, apologize to everyone who, you know, Mr. Two Fingers Tony. Apologies for not reading out questions and things. We'll get on that, man. But it is what it is, man. You know, I'll get out of here now. My predictions, I'm gonna say 2-1 Arsenal. Don't let me down. Don't let me down. Don't let me down. What about Willian in the camera? Well, to be fair with you, I was screaming that when he was here and to play Pepe and stuff. But at the same time now, I'm not going to rule it out. I think it should be something we use. But at the same time, I'm screaming Smith Rowe there or Lacazette there now. And then that's a myth, man. Big up yourself, Jay. No hard feelings. I hope you don't feel any sort of way. You know, like I said, the comments weren't about you. We're talking broadly because I can see everybody's comments. So yeah, man, appreciate you lot each and every time. I appreciate all the opinions. It's lovely to see how you lot think. You know, nobody's right, nobody's wrong. We all see football differently. You know, we're all learning. And it's been an interesting one, people. But we've been here for close to 90 minutes. I'm going to be back again. Yeah, let me not overwork myself. So yeah, we've spoken. If you're just cutting into this thing now, people, then, you know, go scroll all the way back because we've spoken about what? We've spoken about bare stuff. Like in the last half an hour or so, we've spoken about bare different other things where I'm going to go back and see if there's anything I can clip up. But we've spoken about Emery and Torreira. We've spoken about Saliba. We've touched on Eddie Nketiah to West Ham. I'm missing something else out as well. We've spoken about bare things, people. I can actually look now, really. Saliba, Eddie, Ozil, Emery and Torreira, Guendouzi, Holding, Martinelli, and bare other stuff, man. Come on, my guy. You know what it is? You got to ask, because some men are soft like that, man. Some men are soft like that. They can't see that we're just debating and chatting. Some men will start unfollowing and doing all the things like I'm attacking them. Like, I agree with actually everything you're saying, but I got to play devil's advocate, my bro. You know, for me, I just love to. It'd be so good if we could just combine Aubameyang and Lacazette, but we can't, innit? We can't, man. We can't. A man said for Prime Minister. You lot will go. I don't know, man. I don't know. You lot will call for me to get sacked. What time? Watch along 4:45 p.m. 4:45, half an hour before kickoff. I think that's a good time. So yeah, 4:45 live watch along business. Hope to see you all there. I know I'm gonna see the Omars, the 1-1s, the Josh 100s, the AMs, the C Robins, the Adrians, John Wayne. If I've missed out your username, forgive me, people. But I know I'm gonna see some the usuals there. So I'll catch you lot in a bit, man. So yeah, smash the like. Big up yourself, Kareem, moderator now. You know, make sure you moderators. I like how you was regulating. You know, oh, I see Omar boning out at that what's his name, Aaron or something. That was, you know, he tried it. And to be fair, they're smart. I see them get Robbie like that once with one of them names. Like, apologies for my language. But this guy, for those of you that didn't see the message, a man tried to come in here and say, "Oh, Deluded, have you seen that that player that we've been linked with? I think it was Jack on me or something like that." You could see how if I said it, I'm gonna look like an idiot. You know, some of them might get you, but some of them might get me one day. But you gotta be a bit more plugged in. Gotta be a bit more plugged in than that, man. I appreciate that, Marshall, man. It's a shame you don't like Arsenal. Deluded is one of the humblest man on YouTube. I don't like Arsenal, but I love and support the content. Keep it up. I appreciate that each and every time. Hit the likes, like D has said as well. You know, Arsenal these days is saying 4-0. You know, we'll see. 1-1 is saying, you know, Arteta better keep it simple. Hopefully that stays the case. SB is a local one. Come on from N still. I assume you're a 4th Street lad, North London kid. I appreciate that. But they got Turkish as well. You see, and Turkish is switched on, so they must have caught Turkish on a good day. But you see, it could get problematic. It could get problematic, people. It can get problematic. So yeah, you got to stay on task, man. I appreciate you guys, but I'm gonna love and leave you for a couple of hours, and we're back again soon, man. So yeah, man, I'm back again soon. But for now, people, see you at 4:45. DG, man. In fact, before I bust out, someone got Turkish the other day. I didn't even know that's what man were doing. Bro, man, I fight, bro. Jay, man are weird, you know. Man, that make man's day, you know. Man are weird like that. Like that's oh look, you made the Turkish or Deluded or Robbie say da. It's childish, man. But half the time it's bare youth, man, anyway. So I get it, you know. Real ones are not, you know, like Young Spray said, real ones are not commenting mad hurtful things on people's live chats. They're not doing the trolling thing, you know. It's only saddos and virgins and weirdos that are doing those nonsenses, really and truly. So is what it is. But the real ones will be doing their thing. But you lot know me, people. I'll be back again. Trolls can't get me down. But you know, you lot are you lot are not allowing me to bust out. So I'm gonna bust out now, people. Please hit the like button. I'll see you.